Let's hear it, babe. You got to do the entire intro.
No, I do not. You did not warn me.
Well, I just
On
gave it to you.
today's episode of the Energy is Love podcast, we are meeting with your hosts, Craig and Steph. Steph will remember to talk into the microphone throughout the day while she sips her coffee. That's all I got. Enjoy the show. What do I say?
I don't know. Perhaps what's new? What's new with the podcast?
What's new with the podcast? Did you change up the partners? Do we have the partners where you can go and check them out and give some love and support? Donate to
no,
okay, I don't like this.
For
this
the
feels
podcast.
like I'm going to do something wrong. I should know something.
Where can people listen?
Everywhere.
Do we have any new places that people can listen?
No. This you're gonna have to cut all this. This is just straight up garbage.
This is awesome.
This is
intro.
Straight up garbage.
It's perfect.
This is garbage.
Any last things that you want to throw out?
This is not going to be the intro. You will fix this.
Episode 181 is coming up.
Oh my
And what will we be talking about?
I don't know. I forgot my name. I think I have to go take a nap now. The pressure was way too much.
This will be the 181st episode of the podcast, released on February. Slow down. Look at the calendar. It will be February 24th that this episode is released. So if you're listening and it is February 24th, happy 24th.
Happy 24th. May the 24th be with you.
There you go. That's good. I like that.
Thank you. I've had one sip of coffee today. That was my first sip.
Okay.
And you're like, do the intro.
Do the intro.
No, one sip of coffee.
Here we go. We're going to talk about a lot of fun stuff.
We are.
It's going to be great. You're going to love it. It's going to be amazing.
Oh, God.
Stay tuned for the very beginning of the episode, which is in less than 30 seconds. Here we go.
You're listening to the Energy is Love podcast.
Energy is love.
The Energy is the Love podcast.
The Energy is Love podcast.
Energy is love.
The Energy is Love podcast.
The podcast for the universe.
The Energy is Love podcast.
You know what I just realized?
That you put me on the spot and I choked.
You didn't choke. You did wonderful.
Okay.
I did put you on the spot, but I forgot, or I realized just now that we forgot to tell people where, not where they can listen.
What?
The
They will never know.
Okay. We both are on our very first sip of coffee, and we've only been awake for, I don't know, maybe
2 hours.
Have we? Oh, you've been awake for 2 hours?
Well, actually 6, so. No, about 7.
Anywho, we forgot to say
7.
energieslovepodcast.com.
Oh my God. And you know what? I almost did when I said, you're listening to the Energy is Love podcast. I almost said .com because I always forget, but I didn't. Had I done it, we would have been covered.
Well, now we're covered. Even though it's a FCC.
Jesus, we need coffee.
It's an FCC regulation. That
is it really?
You have to mention energieslovepodcast.com on every podcast.
You do, actually.
So if
we
you
need to send out a memo.
If you listen to other podcasts, you have to listen really close, but they throw it in there in every episode. Sometimes it's like the kind of thing where you have to, what are those things where they record ghost sounds? EMRs?
EMRs? Oh, it's like the white noise thing?
Yeah. What are those things called?
Second sip of coffee does not know what those are called.
Gosh dang it.
EMFs?
EMFs maybe? Okay, Google.
Please be.
EMF. Pause.
Here are some results.
Energetic motherfucker.
Electromagnetic field.
Oh, see?
Should you be worried about EMF exposure? No.
That's not it.
Anyways.
I liked mine. Did you hear mine?
What was yours?
You didn't hear it?
No.
I broke out with my energetic motherfucker.
I like that.
Yeah, right?
That's what we should call guests that come on this podcast. Okay. Yo. Here we are with another EMF. No? Steph didn't like that.
Oh.
Good morning, my love.
Good morning.
We're back again.
Yes.
For those of you that don't live in this house,
all of you.
Craig has been traveling extensively for weeks, and he is home momentarily, and that's how dedicated we are to giving you brand new episodes every week.
You're welcome.
So I am home for a few days, like 2 days. 2 days, and I
Yes.
leave tomorrow, and then I get back, and then I leave, and then I get back, and then I leave.
Yes. I'm
And
glad we have a lot of
then
sex on the
I get
get
back.
backs.
Get back.
We get back.
Get back,
We get
honky
back
cat.
to it. Put
Get
you back
back.
into it. What are you saying?
There's a Elton John song.
I went Ice Cube.
Honky cat. Honky.
I don't know that one.
This is a train wreck from the
Oh
get-go.
my God. I'm so sorry. Coffee.
3 minutes in, and
I've got my...
we're screwing up Elton John and Ice Cube lyrics. It's a Mashup Monday. Here we are on the Energy is Love podcast with Mashup Mondays.
I think my face mask's ready to be put on soon. I'm going to, in a little while, be recording this podcast with this ice mask on my face,
God.
and you're going to have to look at me the whole
I'm
time.
going to take a picture of you
You're not.
because that's going to be the picture for
It
the
is not.
episode.
It was too cold this morning. I don't know what happened. My face was like, no.
Baby, we're going to talk right now about the thing that you're super excited to talk about.
That's fantastic.
We
What is
discovered
that?
this recently, and when we discovered
it's a Google.
this is something that Stephanie is beyond excited to talk about
I
on the
can't
podcast.
believe it.
And
There's
she's
nutritional facts.
super excited.
No,
so
I'm not.
for
I'm embarrassed.
do you
now.
remember how we discovered this?
It was.
I
yeah,
remember. Do you want to
remember
share?
that? No, let's hear your version.
Uh-uh.
I'm not doing it.
Well, let's just tell them what we're talking about.
No, you have to tell the story. You have to lead into it. Don't just give away the ending. Let them take the ride.
It seems a little early in the morning for us to talk like this.
Well,
but it's
it
not
already
early for the
happened,
people that are
so-
listening. So, like I mentioned, I've been traveling quite a bit.
Yes.
And when I get home, I'm very excited to see my beautiful wife. If you haven't seen her, she's absolutely gorgeous. She's really, really beautiful. You can go to the Energy is Love podcast Facebook page and see pictures of this beautiful woman. And
Move it along.
Anyways,
Move it along.
I'm very excited to see her, which means I'm
I'm
very
excited
excited
to
to make love to her. So we were laying in bed and post-coital, and I think you started talking about
I'm sure I did.
perhaps there are some healing properties to semen, and you could apply them to your face. You could apply it to your face and leave
I
it on
said
like a face mask, and maybe it
It's the
would
seed
do
of
something.
life. So, like, maybe, right?
Yeah, maybe
I'm
there's some
trying
healing
these new,
properties
like,
to it.
face things. I'm creating my own face masks and body scrubs.
So I
and was being-
immediately I obliged. And so that's how we got on this silly topic, which started us down the rabbit hole. Because you were like, there's protein in it, right?
And then
There's protein in it.
I thought, well, that's just something that men came up with. They're like, hey,
Yeah.
you, there's totally protein.
Yeah.
It's,
Anyways.
it's like a meal replacement.
So we found these nutrition facts online. So if you Google nutrition facts of semen, you will come up with wonderful images.
It really happens.
Because it literally looks like the side of a package, like food packaging that you would see at the store. So nutrition facts: serving size 1 load, 3.4 milliliters and or 3/4 of a teaspoon. Servings per container, unlimited. Amount
love
per
this.
serving, 0.7 calories. Total fat, 6 milligrams. Saturated fat, 0 milligrams. I think that's probably a little inaccurate.
I missed the fat part.
My guess is the saturated fat is per individual. Cholesterol, 3 milligrams. Sodium, 10.2 milligrams.
It's a little high in sodium.
It is a little high. Total carbohydrates.
This is also high.
Yeah. 11 milligrams of
For
carbohydrates
one little
in a
bit.
load of cum.
Like, seriously, it's like a spoonful of honey ice cream.
It is a spoonful of honey. Dietary fiber, 0 milligrams. And protein, 171 milligrams.
But you got to look under. There's like zinc and
I know,
copper.
I'm not
and
done.
Well, I just thought you made it sound like da 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 da.
0.9% zinc. Or no, wait, 0. Fuck, baby, I had a whole
I'm
like
sorry.
spiel.
You got lost
Magnesium,
at the
0.09%. Zinc, 3%. Calcium, 0.09%. Copper, 3%. Contains trace amounts of vitamin B12. Percent daily values are based on 2,000 calorie diet.
Oh my
So,
god.
yeah. Now you know.
I did not even know what to do with that. That was like the funniest thing ever. That was funny.
I
I still think it's bullshit, but
no, it's definitely
I
not.
think it's quite entertaining.
I think it is bullshit as well.
See?
But I like the idea that somebody somewhere in a laboratory had to do the same test.
Do you think they do taste tests?
Oh. Oh, baby.
I'm so happy.
We need to start every
What?
episode with fun educational facts
Well, it's
for these people that are
the
listening.
more you, what is it? The more you,
The more you know, the more you can lie about.
I don't.
The more you can bullshit your way out of anything.
My gosh. Oh, I'm pretty happy right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was funny. I'm almost a half a cup in.
You ready for your next pour?
No, not yet.
So last night,
wake up too tired.
yeah, last night we stayed up late and we watched a scary movie. We watched Dr. Sleep,
Yes.
which if you're not familiar with that, it is I was going to say sequel, but it's technically not.
It's technically not. It's just
What would they call it?
a continuation. What are they doing now? What do they look like now? What's happening now? You remember Doc? You remember Danny from The Shining? What is he up to now?
Yeah.
It's an E Hollywood exclusive thing, really.
Yeah, so it's just a follow-up to The Shining, which was a wonderful movie.
You did not
Very
think I was
uplifting.
as funny as I thought I was.
I think it was pretty good.
The movie or me?
You.
I thought it was really funny there. You missed
Yeah.
it.
True life stories. Coming up next.
It's true.
Fictional characters from horror movies. Anyways, Dr. Sleep,
Yes.
starring Ewan McGregor.
Yes.
And it was really, first off, I'll give you my review.
Oh, let's hear it.
We'll do stars. It was 2.5 stars.
Okay, that's pretty fair.
We're going to have some spoiler alerts if you haven't seen it. And
I didn't like it.
well, I'm not done with my review, Stephanie. Now you've just tainted mine.
You will 2.5 stars gave it away.
That's not bad. That's 50%. That's more than 50%. It's only out of 4 stars.
I thought it was 5.
No, not in my review house.
I'm really confused.
2.5 stars out of 4. So that's pretty good. That's that's B average there. Maybe low B. It was not great, but it was not terrible. I found myself somewhat engaged in wanting to find out what was going to happen next, even though I knew that it was not going to wrap up good or end well or be any sort of I don't know. It wasn't super scary. Do you know what I mean? I wanted some
I actually was scared.
some jump scare, spook scare.
There was no jump
Yeah,
scares.
there wasn't any real scariness to it.
People are fucking psychotic and
Fictional characters in a movie
that was
are
what
crazy
was
for
scary.
sure.
I didn't like the. Sorry, I keep hitting the mic because my eyes keep watering. It just wants that face mask. Yeah, I'm sorry. Continue your review.
It was fun though for some they had the characters from The Shining in it. And you think what characters? All of them, including Jack Nicholson and
It wasn't really Jack Nicholson though. Did I do it?
no, who was it?
I think they were trying to make it like Jack Nicholson, but it didn't look like it wasn't him. That would have been awesome if it would have been Jack Nicholson.
Well, they tried
They
to make it look
implied
like
it.
young Jack Nicholson.
They did. They tried.
Because that movie's from the 70s.
I know they tried.
Yeah. And then the lady, the mom, Danny's mom, that actress
She
did a
did
pretty good
good.
job. She did a good job because in The Shining, if you haven't seen The Shining, these are all spoiler alerts for you, by the way. The mom character in The Shining just runs around crying hysterically and screaming at things the entire movie. So that's all this new actress had to do in the follow-up film was...
Act like a spouse.
Yeah.
And she did
great.
good. She did.
What did you not like about it, babe?
I already told you.
What did you like about it?
What did I like about it?
If anything.
I'm not going to watch that movie again. It's not like I'm boycotting it, making a stance. Never again shall that screen dance on my TV. No, screen. I meant film. Damn it, I almost had it. All right, moving on. It's not a stance. I don't like it. It wasn't good enough to watch again. It's not like, oh yeah, that movie, that'll be a way to pass the time. No, I don't want to do that. And it bothered me.
Yeah.
Like I kept, every time I woke up last night, I was pissed off, and like scenes from the bad people were in my head. And then I hated how they made what they made the bad people. Like, because it looks like they're just
like Stevie Nicks motherfuckers.
right.
Yeah.
And they're
the
like,
lead,
they're really bad people.
Yeah, the lead.
Oh, look at them up there under the stars meditating. They're evil. Like,
Yeah, the lead villainous chick was straight up out of a Stevie Nicks music video.
So I was a little irritated at that. I thought that was a low blow, you fuckers. But no, I don't like it.
How many stars? How many stars?
How many stars? 0. No, I don't know. I'm not a star person. I'm a sit under the stars, not a deliver
You're not a star
stars.
seed?
I'm a sit under the stars. But now I say that and they're like, oh, she eats children's fear. By the way, that's what they do in the show. It's terrible. I don't like it. I don't like shows like that. It just makes me feel icky inside. And I don't like to feel icky.
Yeah.
It just wasn't good. I don't like it. So for me, I don't know. I can't give it a good like review based off of like anything that all you movie dorks go off of, which is, you know, the directing, the acting, the camera angles. I don't give a shit about that. It's how it made me feel. It did not make me feel good, so I didn't like it.
Movie dorks. Thanks, I appreciate that.
I love you. You're
So
adorkable.
Adorkable.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you.
Oh,
You're
we're fighting.
Oh no, we're not
I'm
fighting
so
at
sorry.
all. I was distracted.
I didn't mean to call you more movie dork.
Oh, you didn't hurt my feelings in the slightest, babe. I
Are
was
you sure?
distracted reading my list.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, trying to make sure.
I have my own.
Let's see.
I have a lot of dorky things about me.
Oh, I thought you said your own list.
No, well, I have a little list, but it's not good. Because, see, I'm a dork.
No.
I'm so sorry. Did I offend you?
You didn't offend me at all, dork.
This episode sucks, by the way. I'm sorry. It is not good.
Fair warning, folks.
It started off with you put me on the spot for the intro, and I have not recovered since.
Just so in
I'm
case
trying.
you were, they're probably not wondering. They're like, yeah, we know, babe.
Do they call me babe
They
too?
might call you babe.
All right.
I guarantee Barb
well,
does.
I feel like I have to up my game now.
Because
Not because they call me babe, but because like I can deliver better than this. I am better than this. Here you go. Get ready. This best podcast ever.
let's do it.
Hit play.
3,
Here we go.
2, 1. Podcast. Go.
Go.
No, let's transition.
Okay. I'm ready. I'm sitting up taller.
Last week we talked about
I don't remember.
at the end of episode 180 last week, because we definitely recapped our brandy.
Did we do a 180?
But what we did was we
What'd we do?
talked about self-love and
Yeah, oh.
how we are succeeding and not succeeding and all those kind of things, and what we're doing well and what we're not. So this week, because I was on the road, I was so excited. This is going to be a paid advertisement, even though nobody's paying us for it. I didn't find what it was I get sucked into Shark Tank rabbit holes when I travel, because they typically play hours and hours and hours of them at night. And by the time I make it to a hotel and lay down, my brain has to like shut down slowly because it's been working so hard. And for whatever reason, Shark Tank really helps with that. And a long time ago, I saw a product on Shark Tank that was a collapsible foam roller. So it's a foam roller that you can fold, that you break down in half to collapse it so that it's easier to travel with. I'm not a big foam roller guy. We have one that has been under our base, or not under our basement.
No, it's
under our bed.
It's right there because I use
know,
it.
you're pointing at it. We can see it. They can't.
Well,
Typically, it's hidden under our bed, and it's never used. By me, I don't use it. I'm not a big foam roller guy. But I travel a lot, and my hips and my back and my legs and all that kind of shit get really tender and sore, including the manual labor that I do for work. So when I saw it, I'm like, oh, that might be a good thing to get. Fast forward however long it's been, probably a year, I finally got it. Took it out this first time, used it, loved it. It's amazing. I think if you go to brazen.com, BRAZEN, I think.
I didn't order it.
Brazen.com, you can see it there.
Shark Tank is QVC for men. I
Yeah,
love it.
it is QVC for
I think it's
men.
also QVC for women too.
I was going to say, we're not the only ones. Well, the
It-
one gal is from
QVC.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that.
What's her name? Lori.
I don't know.
I do, unfortunately.
I know.
Okay, it's definitely not brazen.com.
Oh, did you just pull up porn? Oh my God, that's so good.
No, I didn't just pull up. I think they spell it weird with a Y. Yeah, there we go. So it's
I just lost the thing.
BRAZYN life.com, brazenlife.com. And that'll take you to the place where you can find the collapsible foam roller. Anyways, paid advertisement that nobody's paying us for. It works. It
You
works
could,
well. I enjoyed it. Go get yourself one and throw it in your suitcase when you travel. I liked
So
it.
it was nice. I'm so glad.
I had a point to that.
You were talking about self-love. Yeah, you're welcome. See,
Thank
coffee's
you.
kicking in.
Yeah.
I'm ready.
So that's what I did this week for my self-love was I took care of my body. Got some knee pads, put some knee pads on because I'm on my knees a lot for work. Stephanie has a smirk on her face, but it's not that type of work, jerk store.
Nutritional value.
Shut up. And yeah, I took care of my body this week and my body appreciated it and it was noticeable.
It was noticeable. I appreciated all the stamina and ready and willing and eagerness your body came home with.
The vigorness.
The
vigorness that I came home with.
Very nice.
But and what have you done this
have
week?
I done?
What did you do this past week for your self-love?
Well, I already talked about been making body scrubs and face masks, so I've been taking care of that. I've done a ton of workouts. I have found an app. Well, I've refound an app because apparently I did it 36 weeks ago, but I didn't really do it. So I just deleted it off and then reinstalled it. And I'm like, oh, how does it know all my information? That's weird. So I have done, I don't know, something like 16 workouts.
That's crazy.
Since last week. Yeah. I
What's
haven't done any today. I only did one yesterday and 2 the day before.
What's the name of the app?
Oh, again, not a paid advertisement, but if you would like to pay us, if you would like to, I will continue to talk about it.
Oh, it's a paid advertisement.
Well, how do I?
I'll pay you.
You'll pay with new.
Yes, with face masks.
It's called Fit On.
Just FIT.
FITON. Fit On.
You a big fan of it?
I am because it's there is a way that you can upgrade for something. However, it's completely free other than the upgrade. But I think the upgrade is meal planning. And I don't want meal planning anyways. And you can download stuff. So if you upgrade, then you can download it so you can work out wherever you are. But you can pretty much get workouts anyways if you're connected to data or Wi-Fi, which is almost everywhere. And meal planning, which I didn't need. So other than that, the content is all free. There's a crap ton on there. And they have challenges, which works for me because it's a challenge. Can you do this? I'm I have 28 days to do that. I'll do it in 2, So I like challenges. It's like GPS on your car when it gives you the approximate arrival time. All right, I take that bet.
It's a timer.
I beat you by 5. So the challenges help me because then, I have to overachieve it. However, they have a wide range. They have workouts that are coming up that you can schedule that you're going to do live or whatever. They have where you can invite friends so you can do challenges together. They have just a bank of a ton of stuff. They have everything from the HIIT workouts to cardio to the bars and Pilates and yoga. They just have so many. It totally sounds like a paid advertisement.
Also seen on Shark Tank.
Right? So there's kind of something for everybody. And the times too, because they have, anywhere from an hour to 7 minutes, 7-minute yoga stretch. So out of those 16 workouts, I have not picked the hour ones. I don't have 16 hours. And no, I feel like I also have commitment issues. So I picked the 15-minute ones and the 12-minute ones. And there's a couple of 7-minute ones in there. So I've hit it hard. I've got a lot. I've ended up with something like 3.5 hours last time I checked. I did more than that of straight. But
It's very nice, babe.
so it's nice. So it's accommodating. So you're not like stuck in this commitment thing. They're not stuck in like sucking the money out. You don't only have a few limited options. You have tons of options. You have tons like wherever you are. So,
Yeah.
So it's nice. So I'm liking it this round. I hated it the first round, deleted it, forgot I even had it. I don't think anything's changed. I just wasn't ready.
Yeah.
So there we go. That's my self-love. Working out, scrubbing coffee on my body, and trying to figure out
Is that what's in the
coffee
shower?
grounds. Yeah, I thought you figured it out.
I kind of guessed it was, but it doesn't exactly
It's coffee
look
grounds
like
and salt and honey and coconut oil.
honey and coconut oil.
Mhm.
That actually
And some
sounds
salt.
pretty good.
It was nice.
Do you think it did anything?
You tell me. You couldn't keep your hands off me.
That's very true. Kept licking that coffee right out of your crack.
That's not what happened. That's not what happened. So there's my, and now I'm going to put on my cold face mask. So self-love.
We're going to transition now to what I wanted. Several weeks ago, I listened to an episode of the Everyman Podcast.
Damn it.
What?
I forgot to freaking listen.
That's okay. You'll have more to go listen to.
I'm sorry.
You don't have to apologize. I'm going to share it with you right now so that we don't space it. Anyways, Everyman has a pretty good podcast. You can go find it anywhere you find podcasts, blah, blah, blah.
They also endorse the energyisLove.com. EnergyisLove.com, not the...
energyislovepodcast.com.
Damn it. I got tripped up over the.
Anyways, go find their podcast and download and subscribe and all that jazz.
Or you can send us your number and Craig will just text it to you.
It's very convenient. Episode 106 of the show was back in January, and it's with the guest.
Holy fuck.
What?
I just read the first caption of it. On this episode, we explore. Did you see that?
No. What does it say?
Men are not hairy women.
Yes. Anyways, episode 106 of that episode or of that podcast was with this woman named Allison Armstrong. And you can go find more about Allison Armstrong at understandmen.com. Go ahead.
No.
Oh, see, you're already plugged in and triggered there, baby. What is it? Tell me.
No.
Okay.
Keep going.
Anyways, it was a really good episode, and I had never heard anything. I got to do a bunch of coughing. I got my nutritional facts stuck in the back of my throat. But
I almost ruined this mic with coffee. It was almost a coffee ejaculation.
She had a bunch of nuggets of stuff that I hadn't really thought about in that specific way, or things that the way that she viewed them or the way that she spoke about them was really interesting and different. I think you'd really enjoy her because you know how recently, I don't remember, it was a recent episode where you were kind of struggling in that space of thinking that you were being not a proper feminist because you're not, all supportive of this, that, or the other when it comes to women or something like that.
I am supportive of women. I'm just also supportive of men.
Yeah.
So
I think you would like listening to her because she very much is they're not bad.
There are bad people.
Yeah.
But men as a general are not bad.
And I'm going to butcher all of this.
That's okay. I didn't listen to it, so I won't know how to fix it.
Yeah. So you can listen to it, listener, and get a better sense of what this lady was talking about.
Men are not hairy women. What about hairy women? Are they men? Is that what she's saying?
One of the things that she said that made a whole bunch of sense to me, and I didn't ever really think about it this way. This is serious, babe.
I can't. I'm uncomfortable, so I'm making jokes.
Why are you uncomfortable?
I don't know. I feel like something's coming, and I'm like, fuck that. Let's make it funny.
No, she was talking about the way that men are, the way that men feel shame. And I have a very experienced life with shame.
Yeah.
I have a long history of feeling shame and shameful and ashamed and all the shames that you can think of. I have felt over the course of my life. And I can remember feeling shame from a very early age, like very early age, probably like 4 or 5 or something like that. And throughout my life and into my adult life and all sorts of different things, I have had a lot of actions and behaviors that I have felt shame over. And it's been an ugly road of self-hatred and, just a bunch of pain, a lot of pain surrounding my shame and how much I don't like who I am, or didn't used to like who I was. I definitely like who I am today. Anyways, one of the things that she said, and I wrote it down, so this is verbatim at some point in the episode, and it's very simple. It's only honorable men feel shame. And obviously they extrapolated it some more in that episode and talked about it some more, and she expressed it. But the idea is that things that men are typically ashamed of or feel shame over only affects the ones that are honorable, and the ones that are kind of douchebags and pieces of shit don't really care. And so they don't really feel the shame for their actions or their behaviors. And I'm like, oh, that simple little concept and idea made so much sense to me. And because I always felt throughout my entire life, like all along the way, I always felt like I was a good person, that I was a good guy. But it was so counter to the amount of shame that I was feeling. Recently, beautiful woman of mine, I retold you the story of when I was 18 and I moved to Minnesota. And that story has a lot of shame wrapped up around in it for some of my actions and some of my behaviors and some of the ways that I treated people during that time in my life. And granted, I was only 18.
You were 18, yeah.
But all along the way during that time period, and like I said, for my entire life, I always felt like I was a good guy. And in my head, I'm like, you're a good guy, you're a good person. But it was also counter sometimes to my actions and my behavior. And then on top of it, the shame train that would come along and kind of plow through everything made it really difficult to hold on to that feeling of, wait, I am a good person. So just that simple thing of like only honorable men feel shame made so much sense to me, and was kind of like it was kind of, I don't know how to describe it other than like it just
Gave you a little bit of breathing room?
Yeah, it gave me like breathing room, and it gave me like another layer of acceptance for who I was and who I am. Do you know what I mean? Almost like it's almost like the guy in the past, the Craig from 10 years ago, or the Craig from 20 years ago, or even the Craig from longer back than that. I had to think of how old I was. The Craig from 60 years ago. He almost heard it. It's like he heard it and thought, oh yeah, the fact that I'm feeling this shame, the fact that I'm remorseful, the fact that I'm, struggling in the space of like, damn it, I'm a good person. Why am I doing these shitty things? Or all of this stuff that was taking place. It's like that guy heard it and he's like, oh wait, yeah, I am honorable. I am a good person. I am a good man. My actions might say otherwise at times, but the fact that I feel shame and that, I feel like I always have been working towards, being that really good person that I knew that I was. It's just taken a little longer than I thought it would to get to this point. But I like it. So that was the first little
Well,
nugget.
that was cool.
Do you have any thoughts on that?
I'm glad that you have more self-love now and more self-forgiveness.
Yeah.
I've always, actions. Maybe there were shitty actions, but I've happened to always think you were a good man. So you're like, oh yeah, maybe I am a good man. I'm like, yeah, I know.
It's the same thing.
I fell in love with you. I fell in love with a good man.
It obviously it's applicable to people, right? Only honorable people feel shame.
No, I think it's just for men.
Because men aren't alone in the shame department.
I don't have shame.
You're right, babe.
There you go. Does that mean I'm not honorable? Is that what you just said?
No, silly. But
I don't. Okay, I'm gonna try again. I'm sorry.
what?
You were just flipping it on me, so immediately I wanted to start breaking in with some jokes. I'm like, don't you get serious with me right now.
I was just looking for some of your take on that concept.
On the concept, well, honestly, why would I be anything else? I think it's good. I think it's 50-50. I can see it in double ways. I see it as in, that the people that are struggling, because nobody's perfect. Everybody makes mistakes. So it's reserved for the honorable people or the flawless and that never have human moments and don't do anything wrong. Yeah, that's bullshit. So I think forgiveness, self-forgiveness is a big thing, and I think it should happen. And if you're feeling those things, allow yourself to be a human. Allow yourself to have faults and not think you're garbage because you're human. However, on the flip side, then I think of you'll say, I don't know, you'll probably have compassion where I don't have compassion here. People that are predators and violators and just the worst of the worst, and oh, I feel bad, therefore I'm a good man. All I have to do is fucking repent. That's the shit I hear. And I'm like, no, you need to quit being a horrible person, whoever you are, whether it's a man or woman, because men are not the only violators. I am not putting that out there. You need to quit being a horrible person and just thinking that you need to say you're sorry for what you've done, and then no, because that'll give them an out too. So the ones that actually feel it and are trying, that's who it's for. But the ones that just took it as a get out of jail free card, fuck off. So that's my take on it.
Well, yeah, that was the other flip side for me was, if only honorable people feel shame, then what does it mean about the people that don't feel shame? Does that mean that somehow they aren't honorable, or that they are, aren't necessarily good people? And I think that
God damn it.
If the person that doesn't feel shame, in my mind, they are so wounded and so distant and so afraid and so withdrawn and all these different things because of undoubtedly pain in their life, that they lack the connection or the capacity to even connect into shame and or any other emotion that we would want to put into that space.
So then those two for that too.
Those people are in need of greater compassion and love and understanding, because once again, just look at them as children, right?
No, there's two sides to that one too.
Okay.
I see you're wounded, and so they can't. They're so disconnected, and they're so shameful that they don't feel shame, because they do. They're just not allowing it out. They're afraid for people to use it and hurt them more because they already think they're garbage. So I'm not going to put that out there so that it comes back. So they have I need to quit saying so and I'm uncomfortable apparently. That disconnection from it, because it's so big that it is constantly there. They're just making sure you don't see it. And then again, the same people that we talked about, the ones that they just don't care. Some people just don't. And yes, maybe it's from, I can look at them as a little boy or little girl, look at them as a child. But at some point, that's not an excuse anymore. So knock it off.
Yeah, I struggle there, babe.
I know you do. I'm don't fucking hurt people. I'm not going to saying you can go violate somebody's person, whether from whatever age, and be like, oh, but you don't understand what happened to me when I was a kid. So therefore I should get sympathy for what I'm doing to you. Fuck off.
Well, it's not a matter of sympathy. It's a matter of just compassion. We're not excusing behaviors. We're not free passes. We're not saying it's okay and you don't have to, you're not in trouble. That's not what I'm saying at all.
Yeah.
It's just compassion for the pain that person must be in. We need more compassion for everybody across the board, period.
I agree and I disagree.
That's everybody.
I agree and I disagree.
It's not just the people that we want to be compassionate for, or the good people, or the people that we think are good.
I'm not enlightened enough. I do not love everybody.
I don't love everybody
either. A good
either.
Spiritual person should. I don't.
I don't love everybody.
I love people. I try. But I can't look at somebody, and I can look at a lot of people, and I can see there's some horrible actions that have happened recently that we're not going to talk about, that all I want to do is dump love on that person. So it's there. But I think it's because that person is a child still.
Yeah.
But when adults do that, I do not look at that person. I'm sorry. My love.
You and I have had some different life experiences.
Yes.
I'm going to tell you a story. I think I've probably told it to you before, but it's been a long time. When I worked at the jail. So for those listening, I used to be a police officer. And prior to being a police officer, I was a correctional officer. And I worked at the Salt Lake County Jail. Oh, my goodness. Got so much nutritional facts in the back of my throat.
You didn't quit saying that. They're really going to think that soon.
Anyways, it's a big jail, big facility, thousands of inmates. And one night I was talking with one of them, and it was in the maximum security, housing unit for the jail. And it wasn't even, because they had 4 different areas in the jail. You had minimum, medium, max, and then they had 2 minimums. I forget. It doesn't matter. This was the maximum security, and inside the maximum security, this was the maximum security place inside the maximum security place.
Got it.
So these
worst
prisoners,
of the worst.
Yeah, worst of the worst. These prisoners only came out 1 hour every other day, and they were fully restrained when they came out. So they had belly chains, handcuffs, ankle cuffs.
Pretty sure I'm not going to feel sympathy for the story you're going to tell me.
And you'd put on a tether so that you were connected to them via a tether, and 2 officers at all times have to escort them from their cell over to the shower, over to wherever. Anyways, so there was a prisoner in that section, and I was talking to him one night, and I don't remember exactly what he was in there for.
Is that true?
Yeah, it is true.
Okay.
Because oftentimes I wouldn't look.
Oh, because I understand that.
Yeah. I don't really care. I don't really need to know why you're in here. I could go look, right?
But then you're going to treat him different. Would you treat him? I would treat him differently if I knew. I would not look just so I could do my job and not treat them differently. So I could treat them like people.
Yeah. So I don't remember exactly what this
you.
guy was in here for, but you can imagine.
I can.
Like I said, it's not like they put the good prisoners. It's not like they put the guy that got picked up with a bag of weed in his
I'm
pocket.
so impressed with you for a moment. I just want to say, how cool is that you wouldn't even, you're just they're here, there are people. Okay, you're pretty awesome.
I didn't view them all as people, that's for sure. This was a long time ago when I was much different than I was today.
Yet, I bet the story you're about to tell is going to contradict that.
Well, that's the whole thing, is I've always been a good person inside, right?
My point.
So I'm sitting there talking to this guy, and I'm trying to have this was pretty later on in my career at the jail. So I'd been there for a while, and I was trying to figure out ways to mix things up for myself, because it was getting so mundane and routine, and it's a heavy, shitty place to work in.
Yeah.
There's just so much shit to deal with there. So I was trying to mix things up in a sense, and I was just trying to engage with these guys in different ways to kind of entertain myself in a sense and make things more enjoyable and less of a grind. But I was talking to this guy one night and trying to really have a real conversation with him and relate to him person to person rather than officer to prisoner. And we stood there, him on his side of the cell door and me on my side of the cell door, and we had a really nice conversation for quite a while. And he told me stories about started smoking and using drugs when he was like 9 or 10 years old because, its father was doing it and it was given to him, and seeing all sorts of violence and abuse in his house and in his home. Just all the kind of stuff that you could imagine happening. And one of the things that was still sticking with him today, obviously, that was still having a big impact with him was, I think he said he was like 10 or 11, and he saw his best friend get shot in the head. And he was like right there next to him when it happened. So he like sees his friend get shot, sees his friend go down, and then like sees his friend die after getting shot in the head right there. And so it was a really, it was a cool little moment, right? This cool little interaction, but it also gave me a much broader context to look at all the people that were inside that facility in a different light and in a different way. Because who the hell's going to take a 9-year-old boy, who has experienced that kind of stuff and not have compassion for him, right? Yes, this guy was an adult. He was in a gang from the time that he was really, really young because, his parents, his father, his brothers and uncles and everything like that were in the same gang. And so you understand the cycle that is being repeated for him in his life. But it's like, man, is he an evil person? Is he somebody that doesn't deserve compassion? Is he somebody that we need to just lock up and throw away the key and treat like garbage? Or, yes, he's an adult, and yes, he has the ability to make different choices, and he has to be responsible for his actions, but yet we can still treat him with respect and have compassion for him. He doesn't need to be treated any different, even though he may have done some heinous things in his life.
I don't know.
It's hard, right?
I have compassion for the story, and who's to say, like, whatever. I have compassion for that, and I think that person, yes. But obviously, what they're doing now is obviously, I don't know. They're going to be doing that. They need to be locked up, because just because like that happened and we need to have compassion for them doesn't mean that we get to unleash that so that cycle continues and they cause more chaos that other people are going to be bleeding from. No. Like, I hate that. That is so messed up. But let's stop it.
Yeah. How do we stop it, right?
I don't know.
Big questions. That was a big thing in the whole correctional institution mindset. Is it punitive, or is it God, I can't remember the other term, but basically, are we just locking people up, or are we trying to rehabilitate them? Are we trying to help them? Do you know what I mean? I have a depend.
I have depends. I don't know how to look at it from a I don't know how to really step back and look at it, because I'm definitely biased, and I think there are crimes that, yeah, let's rehabilitate them. Let's give them a shot. Let's look at where they're at. Let's look at their age. Let's kind of those things. And then there's crimes.
I want to be clear, because I know you and I know what you're talking about. This guy that I'm talking about, he was just a violent person, a violent offender. I don't know if he had killed anybody. I don't know. But they had another housing unit that was for all the people that were in protective custody. So if you go to prison or if you go to jail and you have a crime, usually involving a child or sexual assault or whatever the case may be,
then they protect you.
Yeah, then you go into PC, into protective custody. So this guy was not in that facility or in that housing unit.
Yeah,
it doesn't make a difference, but
well, it kind of like I don't know. I don't know. And then at the same point, who the hell am I to say what the line is? I mean, I think I get to say what the line is, and I think it's here, but everybody has a different line, and everybody's sure of their line. So I don't know.
let's look at it from
I
this
don't
perspective.
know.
Do you think that guy that I tell the story about,
Mm-hmm.
do you think he feels shame?
Do I think he feels shame? God damn it.
See what I did there?
Fucker. I'm not talking.
Once again, only honorable people feel shame.
No.
I think he does.
I think
And I think he
does
did.
too.
Right?
Yeah.
So if they
Whatever.
have that level of...
So, well, what is it? There's good and bad in everybody. We can go to straight, yin and yang, go all that. I know you love it when I say yang. I didn't mean to hit the mic too.
okay.
Hold on. Give me a minute to get my order.
There was another guy in that same housing unit, Curtis Allgaier, and you can...
I don't think you can say names.
Oh, I can say that motherfucker's name.
Okay. Oh, is he a motherfucker?
Yeah.
I know who that one is. So that's okay. So that one is a fucking bitch, right? Fuck him. Fuck him. There, sorry. You might want to edit that out.
No, you can go Google Curtis Allgaier, and
Most people probably know who that is too.
they definitely don't.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah, he had some notoriety in Utah back in the day. But this guy had killed killed a prison guard, and it was this whole big issue. But that's why he was there.
Yeah.
And I tried to
Ugh.
talk to him, and that guy was like
Feel it.
you could feel, looking back now, right? I didn't necessarily have the context to understand it then, but trying to talk to him and connect to him in any way of like human to human or person to person, you could feel the immense amount of protective shielding that he had in place so that he could never be reached. Because everything that he ever, every single interaction I ever had with that guy was like the game of good guy and bad guy, prisoner and officer, the game of I'm going to get one over on you, I'm going to manipulate you, I'm going to play this game. He was constantly playing the game. That other guy, we'll call him John, that's not his name. The other guy would play the game as well, but in that moment when I had that conversation with him, it was like he set down, his game pieces, his tools, his weapons, whatever, and just had a conversation with me. Whereas Curtis would never not be playing the game. So it was constantly him trying to manipulate or get what he wanted, or do you know what I mean? All of these kind of different little things. And you could feel that. You could feel that the entire time. You could feel that he was constantly watching you and waiting and looking for ways to exploit, you as a person and all these kind of different things. So you always had to kind of be on point when you were dealing with him. Mm-hmm. But there were times where I tried to because fuck, man, everybody's a person, right? Everybody is just deep down inside this little kid that just wants connection and acceptance and love. And I believe that wholeheartedly, even if that poor little kid inside has been locked away inside of a, closet, inside of a house, inside of a basement, inside of a, darkest reaches of a cavern or something. Yeah. It's just the way it goes. But
keep going.
No, that's all. That's all. I'm done. We don't need to talk about that anymore.
You just stopped. You were like,
I thought you had something else. That's why.
I was adjusting my body. No, I do not. I'm interested to see, I'm listening. I'm engaged in your conversation.
Yeah. For that guy, Curtis Allgaier, I don't think he feels shame. Yeah. Yeah. He is also, he probably does to some extent, right?
What if it's so deep in there and he feels like he has to keep this going because otherwise he's going to die? This is the only way he can survive, and he's so scared and so saddened, but his instinct for survival is strong and he's just trying.
Yeah.
What are you going to do now?
I'm always going to show up and be like, okay, that's fine.
I'm not.
I'll immediately forget and, I'm like, okay, let's talk. I'm here.
That's good. I don't think I can.
Yeah. I'd say that, right?
Yeah.
But it's not like I have any real world.
You just gave real world example.
Well, yeah, but like,
so, like
I'm
you
talking
did
about
it.
like right
you
now,
walked the talk already.
present day. It's not like somebody, if Curtis comes to the door, I'm sure shit not going to let him in the house.
Well, thank you.
Right? Him and I
Thank
might
you.
have a conversation on the front porch.
No.
But yeah.
Okay, I don't know.
Maybe he's in federal
Well, I
prison
know,
somewhere.
but like there's like plenty of Curtises out there.
You're so cute. I love how you like immediately like we need to move.
Right?
We're done. This podcast is over. We're deleting every episode and we are no longer on the internet in the slightest.
Suddenly I'm gonna. Anyways.
So back to how we got on this topic. Once again, this woman, Allison Armstrong, go listen or go find more of her stuff.
Why did you end up listening to her? Because at first you didn't want to.
What do you mean?
Like at first you it was the.
I saw her website a while back. I don't remember how, where it was or who shared it or something like that. But I saw her work a while ago and I went and looked at it. And first off, I kind of don't like the understand men.
From a woman's point of view?
Yeah. That kind of rubbed me the wrong way.
I don't like when men try to tell you how to understand women.
Yeah, exactly, right?
Let a woman tell you what a woman's experiencing, not a man can't tell you what a woman's experiencing.
Yeah. So
and
that
vice versa.
Yes, but you're right on all fronts.
I know. I'm so wise.
However, listening to her was much different than looking at her website or even her little introductory video that she puts on her website. Listening to her in a podcast form where she gets more time and space to kind of express herself and hear her thoughts extrapolated out as opposed to just her talking points that you would put on a website as a marketing ploy. I like her. I like her message. I like her stuff. I like what she's talking about. I like what she's bringing. I think that it's not just applicable and useful information, but I also think that she's got a niche of an insight. Because the other thing, this is completely side note, because there was a couple of different points from that episode. Oxytocin. You know what oxytocin is, right?
Chemical in your butt, yeah.
Did you say chemical in your butt?
No. Yes, chemical in your butt. I'm sitting on my oxytocin.
Oxytocin, it can cause or strengthen labor contractions during childbirth and control bleeding after. Okay, that's definitely not the important part. It's a hormone and a neurotransmitter that isn't. Okay, why does it keep talking about childbirth?
Because it's not important at all.
It is also associated with empathy, trust, sexual activity, and relationship building. It is sometimes referred to as the love hormone. So she talked about oxytocin, and the fact is, or I shouldn't say the fact is, but the way she described it was oxytocin enhances estrogen and negates testosterone. So it strengthens estrogen and then kind of cancels out testosterone. And then that's your thinking face.
That's my thinking
grumpy face. What do you think of that?
I think I'm curious about that. I haven't heard it described like that. I've heard the feel good hormone and like you want to do things that naturally like boost. I haven't heard that it enhances estrogen and cancels out testosterone. So
I don't know if it let's think the way that I thought about it was because I think the verbiage was negates testosterone. So I think it probably
I don't know.
I don't know either.
I mean, I can form crude opinions based off of that, but I feel like, oh, that's interesting. I want to.
Well, let's
let's
form crude opinions.
No, because I think that's like I want to know.
It's a little thought provoking, though.
It is a little thought provoking. I'm curious to let the thoughts provoke.
I think it kind of explains men in some regards, because in my mind, if we think about oxytocin as a connection hormone, something that's going to help facilitate and create connection,
okay,
it makes sense why women tend to be better at that with stuff, right? They tend to be better at connection than men do. And so if we just look at it from that base level of, estrogen and testosterone, one of which is it's strengthened by oxytocin and one of which is weakened by oxytocin. So then it would make sense that men would be more adverse to something that is going to weaken their testosterone, even from just a purely, intellectual, biological way. You're looking at me like I'm so fucking scared.
I'm sorry. It's going to boost up your testosterone.
No, all of it's running right now.
No, that's just like that's crazy. Just like so many things like you hear, like man up and, boys don't cry. All those things like you don't get, my favorite, don't get pussy whipped, right? All of these things that men naturally are, they're not naturally.
Happily get pussy whipped.
Okay. What do you mean? No, that's just like sad. Like they're being trained to turn that off from a very young age. And so then it looks like, again, that women are just better at it. It's just because it gets shut down harder. I feel pretty, I don't know, who the hell am I? I don't know anything, but I feel pretty confident in the fact that that connection is there. I just think that connection is there. And I think it's the same ability. Men have been beat down so much that they can't, they are taught how to turn it off. It's like anybody with an ability. When you're taught to turn it off, you're taught to turn it off. And it goes like even before that, because men are physically generally stronger, that how much of that has to get turned off so they can walk away and do the things that they need to do, so they can bring the food or whatever. But women are badass and bring their own goddamn food too. So I just have a hard, no, I just don't buy it. I just don't buy that there's separation. I believe that it's separation from environment, not from, what's the word? It's trained. It's learned. It's not the way that you were brought into the world, in a sense. It's a learned thing. So I hear that and I'm just like, that is a part of the problem. That is a part of the problem. It is not true. It is a learned behavior. And
I would agree with you to some extent, but once again, it's like we are not the same.
I'm not saying we are the same. That's not my argument. I'm not trying to say that we are the exact same. I'm not trying to say that men and women we are different, and I love the differences. And the differences are needed because if everybody could do the same thing, then no, we need contrast. We need everybody bringing what they can bring. Like, that's not what it is. I feel passionately about this because I think is what it comes down to is love and the ability to love. And it's like saying men are not as able to love and feel that connection as women are. And that is not true. It's learned. And I don't think when it comes to love that I feel like it's the same. I think the little boys and the little girls are brought with the same amount, and how it is brought out in their environment is how it is shown. So I hear that connected, that emotional, and it's love. It's like saying men are not able to love as much as women, and I just don't buy that. I think
to give and receive love.
Yeah, I don't buy it. I think it's a learned thing. It's
agree.
Not that.
But I think that the way that men give and receive love is different than women. Even though I agree fully that, everybody comes into the world with the same capacity to give and receive love and feel love and not feel love, right? Mm-hmm. Same level, same capacity, all those kind of things. They're just different. That's all.
Yeah.
There's definitely some things that match up. There's definitely some things that correlate and connect and operate and function the same way. And then there's things that are super different. But you're right. I think also that life, circumstances, the environment that you're in, all those kind of factors as well affect it greatly, right?
Yeah. I've met some very, very tender men and very cold, women. So anyways.
People are people.
I know.
Just people. Let's go, baby. We got to have some breakfast and get our day moving. We got too many things to take care of.
Okay.
Are you all set?
Yep.
Any last closing words? You're welcome, folks.
You're welcome, folks.
I love you, babe.
I love you.
Okay, Google. EMF.
Here are some results.
Energetic motherfucker. Do you think they do taste us? It was almost a coffee ejaculation.
I am honorable. I am a good person. I am a good man. We need more compassion for everybody across the board, period.